Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to cover more of the Scorched Earth Explorer Notes. Last time we covered this area, the Manticore sort of Colosseum arena, as well as this sort of city ruin around it. And today, although you can't really see it on the map, but we're basically going to move all the way to the northern part of the map and cover all the notes that are found in the deep desert. So, for these first episodes, we're going to make our way around the map, covering all of those notes that are out here in the sand, and then we'll move inland in sort of the more rocky, livable area and cover those. So, let's get right started, shall we? This first note is kind of hard to guide you to because it's just sand out here, but you can see the arena rubbles over here. The mountain right here, and basically what you want to do for the first one is that you want to move all the way out to the sort of end of the map. You can actually kind of see the ruin there, but just to kind of guide you, if you go to the very end of the map, you should find the border very soon. There we go. And if we look at the map here, you can see how there are numbers right next to the map there. So we have 80, 70, we're close to 70. Basically, if you follow the edge of the map, basically to that 70 number, this is for the first time I used the map to guide you and not the surroundings, but that's because it's really hard when it's just sand. But you want to move to the 70 number on the map, follow the end of the map, and if you look a little bit in, you can see how you can actually see some over there as well. There are like these clusters of small plants and rocks. And the one that are closest to you, you should see this when you're here. You can see how there is, I mean, in the distance it would look like just rocks, but you can see here that it's a ruin. Not just some random rocks or plants. So yeah, we have this right here, and I'm not in Leave Me Alone, which is what I usually am. So I'm gonna have to fight some mantis right now. There we go. But yeah, you find this ruin right next to the 70 on the map, pretty much at the end of the map as well. But for actual coordinates, you can see the note right there. It is Rockwell number 1 at 71.7 by 10.5. I hope that was a decent explanation. I'm going to probably use the map more now than I usually do because it's very hard to guide you. Again, it's just sand here. But let's move to the next one, shall we? Okay, so for the next one, we're moving a bit closer to the rocks and mountains and livable space. In fact, we are right next to the Vibrant Crack, so if you are doing this in, you know, survival and not in, like, cheating mode like I'm doing, be careful, because as you can see, there are Vibrants here. But, basically, we're moving to, like, pretty close to the end of the crack. Again, it's going to be hard, kind of hard to guide you to this one as well, but if you look at these surroundings, you can see the crack starts over there. Follow the kind of basalt, and I guess this could be a marker here. You can kind of see how this particular one here, this is probably the worst marker I've ever used, but this one is kind of taller than all the surrounding ones. So if you start in the south of the crack, move a bit up, you should see this one. Like a little taller basalt pillar than everywhere else surrounding it. And it's also sort of fairly close to the top peak there. But you don't really need to use these because if you look right out in the desert from this, like basically from the start of the crack, just move north, look to the side out in the desert, and you should see this ruin right here. It's a fairly big one, and there is I've already forgotten her name, but there is a note right there, kind of hard to see because it just looked like a flat piece of, I don't know, rusty stuff on the ground. It's kind of hard to see that it's a note, but that is one. It is Dakheya note number 3 at, if we can bring up the map, there we go, 66.3 by 14.3, 14.4, there we go. And for some reason, my little blue thing has disappeared on the map, but you can still see me standing there. There we go. It's kind of there, yeah. So that was the second note on our journey. And the third one that we're going to take is actually pretty easy to find as well. If we use this note that we were just at as a marker, you can see that there is a huge dune. If you look towards the end of the map, which is over there, it's on your right. So if you have the crack behind you, it's on the right side, but it's also the only very tall dune here, so you should see it. If you move to the top of that sand dune, and you look down, yeah, you should see a pillar thing, like a ruin over here. So just fly towards it, or fly to it, and you'll find another note around it somewhere. There it is. Again, one of those flat ones, Dahkeya Note, or whatever you call them. It is Dahkeya Note number 23 at 63.6 by 10.3. Okay, so for this next note, we're heading quite a bit further north. You can barely see the other note that we were at, or like the ruin over there. But we are now all the way up here between the 50 and the 60. And this one is a bit harder to find, but it's also a bit easier. You'll see what I mean very soon. But basically, what you want to do this time is make your way to this sort of land bridge. Just follow the trench, like the Vibrant Trench. And you can see that there are several land bridges here, but from the south, it's the first one. And as you can see, I think it's it's 3 land bridges going across from the north. So if you come from the north, it's the last one. If you come from the south, it's the first one. Got it? Good. This is the coordinates, in case you're wondering, though. And you want to use this sort of just as a little marker. So when you get to this land bridge thing, or trench bridge, or whatever, if you look out in the desert, you should see that. It's sort of an oasis, and fly to it. So this is an oasis. You can tell it's a bit different than the other kind of oasis type things that we see like over there. Because this one has palm trees in it. Like it has trees, a few of them. And it also has a water source in the middle. So you can put a well and actually live here. Not sure why you would do that, but you can. And this is where the note is. Now, it might be a little hard to find it. This is the hard part of it. Because it's no ruin. It's right here, just in the middle of nowhere. So if you're just traveling here casually to get a drink or something, you might very easily miss it. Because there isn't any ruin to sort of mark it. But there is a note here. It's an Helena Note, Helena 27, 54.8 by 13. So yeah, it's 27. Yeah, I said that. So it's kind of hard to find because if you just casually come here again, you easily to miss it. But there is a note here, and the oasis itself is easy to spot. So it's sort of an easy to find, but yet hard to miss, you know? No, easy to miss and easy to find. There we go. And the next note is also next to the Vibrant Trench, because it pretty much runs across the entire west of the map. This one is really easy to find though, because as you can see, it's a very big ruin right there. But to still sort of show you where it is, again, here, I kind of showed the map, but to show it more properly, here we are. Between the 50 and the 40 on the side there. The Vibrant Trench and stuff looks like this. It is the first land bridge here. So we were over there earlier, now we're here. And you can see this one has a bunch of trees on it. And if you just go to this land bridge, I think this is the end of the Cairn too. Might be mistaken, it might be some on the other side. I don't remember, I haven't played on this map in forever. But anyways, here we got the trench, or no, the bridge, sorry. The first one from the north, and if you look out in the desert, you can very clearly see that there is a ruin there. And if we go to that ruin, we should find our next note. So when you finally arrive at this ruin, it's quite a long way from the bridge that we were at. If you go to the left here from the bridge, look in the little corner between these two sort of tower thingies, you can see there is a Raia tablet, number 16, at 45.8 by 9.5. And then we have, surprise, surprise, another note. As I briefly mentioned earlier, yep, there is a little bit more trench on this side. So, yeah, but from this, like, big rocky bridge here, this rocky area, it's one very close. So we were just over here somewhere. You can't really see it because of the dune. But if you're in the desert, you know, follow the trench. And if you follow the basalt from this rocky part, you should see the note very soon. It's right here. This is where we are at the map. Again, big rocky sort of overhang thing, or I'm just going to call it a bridge because it sort of acts like one. Over the trench. Quite far north, that seems to be the proper end of the trench, over there, so it's kind of the first, yeah, big rocky thing. If you just go up north from that, just literally follow the basalt just a little bit, and you find another ruin with the Jerboa Dossiers. So that's pretty cool. 36.9 by 12.2. And when we are here, the note is right there, so when we are here, you can also see the ruins that holds one note again. So, if you just continue south a little bit from that note, you should come to some of the salt. And if you just look out in the desert from there, there is a ruin, and there's another note here. So, this is where we are at the map. It is, what is it? It's the Dahkeya Note 13 at 33.6 by 10.6. And then when you come to the very end of the trench, where I'm now, which is roughly here on the map, at the 30 line there, if you look right in the desert from there, you should see this ruin. Might be a little hard when you're on the ground, like if you're right here, you obviously have to walk up a little bit to see it. But if you get out in the desert from there, you can see this little ruin here. And as you can see on the corner, facing northeast, so that way, there is Dakheya 14 at 28.5 by 12.4. And if you continue straight from that ruin, little thing right there, if you look out in the desert, right next to those tall mountains, you can even see the blue obelisk there, you should see another ruin. Completely, like this is, it's literally nothing else out here, so it should be pretty easy to spot this one. And you can see the note there as well. Next to the most intact pillar, there is another note, Helena Note number 13, at 23.7 by 12.6. And then we're gonna have to use the note again for reference, because there isn't anything out here. Like, literally, there is nothing but sand. Not even grass, like we have over there. But if you are on this ruin, and you look sort of towards the corner of the map, you can see a very big dune. Massive one. And if you go towards that, you should also eventually spot this ruin on sort of the right side of the dune there. Another ruin surrounded by some salt and some grasses. And as you can see, right here, at the very end of it, or at the start of it, or whatever, next to that sort of pillar arch thing, we have Dahkeya Note number 1. 17.7 by 12.2. And the final note for today is a bit far away, but it's still within the reasonable area. You can see here how much we've covered. The map is pretty small, and it's really easy to travel across this with a fast mount, which is why I take it, despite being sort of long distances in between. But basically, when you get to the very corner of the map, you can see the ruin that we were at and the big dune right there. if you actually just kind of follow the direction of the dune, you can see the mountain there. You're starting to kind of turn around towards the blue obelisk. And although there are some other grasses and even an oasis over there, it should be fairly easy, or sort of easy. Like, I'm sorry, but there is no other way I can explain this. But you can see here that amongst these grasses, and roughly on the direction of the dune, you should see this little ruin right here. I'm going to give you an aerial view when we got in the note. But these are the coordinates and the location, 10.6 by 19.4. It is Helena Note number 11. And again, if I give you an aerial view, it's really the best I can do for you because it's so hard to explain this one. But it's on roughly the 20 line right here. If you look at the bottom of this map, you can see that it's on number 20. And it's sort of on the corner. It's where the mountain or the livable space sort of turns to face east. It's really all I can say. And with that, we've covered all the notes for this video. Every note that goes from the south to the north here. Next time we will continue the barren desert this way. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If this was helpful for you, then I would really appreciate if you subscribed and liked the video. It helps with the algorithm, and it also helps to support me. So, you know, that would be very great. And I'll see you again very shortly. Goodbye.